Good morning. I'm going to start with a small exercise. Um, so anyone who has been through failure and learned the lessons, please stand up. Okay, thank you. Next question. Anyone who has given up all the things and started life new, please stand up. And the people who've been standing should continue standing, right? The third one, um, anyone who is living their full potential and living their purpose, please continue standing. And lastly, anyone who has no regrets and is living in the moment, continue standing. So welcome to the 1% Club. Today I'm going to be talking about the growth mindset. Thank you very much. Please have a seat. I think the most important quality that all human beings want is to be happy. And there's a beautiful quote by Abraham Lincoln that is all in our mind. If we want to be happy and we decide to be happy, we will be happy. Happiness is an inside job. So when you evaluate this for yourself, there should be two questions. How do you define your happiness? And number two, what are the daily actions for that? So by that, I mean, what are you doing physically? What are you doing mentally? What are you doing spiritually? And what are you doing financially? These four goals would define happiness, and all of them are intrinsic. I keep getting asked by a lot of youngsters about, how do we get success? And I think the Instagram generation wants instant success, which is hedonic, while we should be trying for eudaimonic, which is more long lasting. Any success which comes overnight will also disappear or vanish overnight. So life is a series of small goals which add up to the big goal. So every day, define those 10 things that you would do across, as I mentioned, physical, spiritual, mental, and financial, plus social. What are the 10 things that you would do every day without fail? If you keep doing that, as James Clear says in his beautiful book, Atomic Habits, probably in 66 days, you would have rewired your brain to achieve the larger goal. So as I mentioned, how do we plan our everyday targets? Do you journal every day? Journaling is very, very powerful. If you can take 5 minutes in a day to journal, what are you in gratitude for? What went right? What went wrong? What did you learn from it? It is very empowering. And if you have a bad day in the 365 days, just open your journal and you probably have 365 reasons to feel good about your life and how much value are you adding to society. So I would encourage everyone to journal just 5 minutes in a day. Get those small wins every morning. So if you can wake up in the morning, meditate, go for a walk, do some physical exercise, have a good breakfast, you've already set up your day to be productive. Finally, how are you evaluating and rewarding yourself? Are there benchmarks you're setting every year on growth? I think the most amazing thing that you can do is not be in the same place as you are today. Say that at the end of 365 days, you're going to grow. If you manifest it, you will get it. Has anyone who has climbed a mountain would say, the joy is in the journey. As I mentioned, eudaimonic happiness, which is basically long-lasting happiness. So we should not be attached to the goal of reaching the summit and say, oh, that's all consuming. We should be enjoying the journey, we should be enjoying the company, we should be learning from the lessons, and that's where we will attain long-lasting happiness. And it's the same analogy you can apply for your life. Life is not a series of successes every day. Every day we go through ups and downs. And what can hold us is our mind. How do we feel? Are we happy with the things we have? Then you're on the right path. Do you have a checklist, where you are evaluating your purpose, you are evaluating your passion, and your performance? If you don't have a checklist for yourself, then who is going to have it? We are, in our average life, we spend probably 25% working, either for ourselves or someone else. 1/3 of our life we spend sleeping, probably 10% with friends. How much percentage of time in a day do you spend on yourself? How much percentage You can define it by minutes. Are you spending 30 minutes in a day purely on yourself? So exercise, meditation, journaling, doing something good for society, practicing gratitude. If you can keep 45 minutes to 60 minutes in a day, and even if you do it 5 days a week, trust me, you're going to be a winner. And finally, in that point, also add reading. All the world's leading businessmen or innovators practice reading. So Bill Gates reads a book a week. Um, you have to inculcate 10 pages a day, whether it can be in the morning, but ideally do it at night when you are calmer, and that also helps you with sleep. What are the three priorities one must have for a happiness mindset? Self goals, family values, and society. So I'm going to tell you about one of the low points in my life, and this was in 2014. We were living overseas, and it was March 1st, 2014. I remember the day. And my son's mother, we were married that time, she just woke up in the morning and said, I'm not in love with you anymore, and I want to end the marriage. And I felt, wow, I've slogged all my life to have a good job, provide them comfort, and invested in this relationship. And wow, I hadn't planned this for life. And my son was only 5 years old then. And, I'm extremely close to my son. And, I had a choice to either self-destruct or make best of the time that I have with my son, because now he was going to live with his mom and they were going to move back to India. So for me, I take a lot of effort to be a good, dedicated father, to be a good son to my mom. She was an economist at the RBI, and she was my role model. And giving back to society. So every day, can you do an act of kindness? And you don't need to define it with money. It can be defined by your time. Can you buy a coffee for a stranger every week? Obviously, you don't tell that person that you paid for the coffee. You just pay for the coffee and move on. Practice acts of kindness. Invest a lot of time in family. The world's longest standing research on happiness is at Harvard. It started in 1920, and it's tracking close to 720 participants. And the number one finding is relationships. Whoever said they're happy, they said relationships make them happy. So family values, relationships, society, and the self goals. These are your top three priorities, I would say. I'm going to show you a quick slide. The world's happiest countries. Finland has been number one for the last 4 years running. Then you have Denmark. So basically the Nordic countries. And why do you think they consistently are in the top 5 in the world? India is, I think, 139 out of 150. So they place a lot of emphasis on a happiness mindset. So from grade 1 to grade 12, the kids are learning happiness in school and college every week for 35 minutes. So now imagine if you're 18 and you've studied happiness as a skill set for 300 hours, you'd be very good. Like we are proficient in math and science, most Indians are. Think about if you add happiness to your learning. So that's their secret. Some simple tips. Keep repeating those 10 acts. A good tip that I could give you is called stacking, visual stacking. So if you want to practice a new fitness routine, example, and you're a bit lazy or a bit scared to adopt it, stack it up with a good habit of yours. Like example, you like to have a cup of coffee every day or tea. Say that you're going to do the physical exercise for 25, 30 minutes and reward yourself with the coffee or the tea. And that is something, again, that works wonders. If you keep doing this for 21, 30 days, it'll become an automatic ritual for you. And you won't be scared of anything new. To summarize, what are the key points? Adopting a growth mindset, having good friends, and what I mean is real friends without any agenda. The right attitude. Attitude defines everything in life, personally and professionally. Optimism. If you're positive, and scientists have shown that positivity will give you the right results. Wake up in the morning and say you're going to have a good, positive day, and trust me, you will manifest that. Invest a lot in your physical health. I think you can have millions or crores in your bank account, but if you're not physically fit, you can't enjoy anything. Social life, please spend time with the community, give back your time. If you don't want to give money, then give back your time. Invest in your personal finance. I think some of the speakers today are going to be talking about it. Personal finance is very important. Globally, financial stress contributes close to 50% of mental health issues. So let's get finances right. The power of relationships, self-esteem, no one is going to come up and say, every day tell you, put your head high. You have to pick yourself up after every battle. Family, I think there's no one as beautiful as family. So please don't ignore and keep nurturing your family. Thank you for your attention and have a blessed day.